Yeah.
What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from the final round of the SRL F1 2017 season. And it looks like we've got a packed house of drivers and got a packed house here in the booth. I've actually got the vice president of the league, Mr. Samuel Brandt, with me, co-commentating today. Say hi, Sam.
Hello.
Can't say no to the vice president.
Nice to be here. Unfortunately not racing, but you know, but yeah, it's nice to at least commentate on the race.
So Sam, you actually started this year with Haas.
Yes.
Retired.
That is true.
Made a one-off comeback in a Jensen Button type style.
Yeah.
Is there any hope of you racing come F1 2018?
Yes, there is. I've actually signed a full-time contract with Haas F1 team for next season as well.
Very good.
Yeah, I'll be back on the grid.
There you have it, folks. Firsthand, straight from the horse's mouth, Sam Brandt will be back for F1 2018, again with Haas. And Haas has had a very tumultuous year between your retirement, the disqualification of Yannick Repentin, and obviously multiple team members changing. Haas is not even the same team that it was at the beginning of the year.
No, that's true. I would say it's the team that has had the most changes, like with me retiring at first, Jesper then coming in and replacing me, and then of course, yeah, Yannick getting disqualified, and now Jesper is driving the flag for Haas as a single-man team. So yeah, it's been an up and down year for Haas. So we'll look to do it better next year, of course.
So this is round 20 for the F1 2017 season. This has actually been season 3 of the SRL League on the PS4 platform. We'll do a little bit of a season recap, and we'll do a driver countdown, obviously, here, as you see the drivers lined up on the left-hand side. You will notice that there is no Bart Catalda, which doesn't matter at this point. He clinched the championship last time out, so today's race is just a matter of guys racing for pride, and with no Bart, that leaves it open to possibly Francis McGinn getting back on top step of the podium, or maybe even somebody else. Doesn't look like any drivers have left the pits yet.
There is a Mercedes coming out of the pits now. That is, and the Haas is also out of Jesper, so nice to see.
The Sahara Force Indias are both heading out. So do a quick driver rundown here as we're on board with Sandro Dulius as he is leaving the pits. Sandro in the factory Ferrari, he's followed closely by Dion Stahl, who's going to be leaving the pits here momentarily. We have Louis Quinlan in the Sahara Force India. Francis McGinn has not yet left the pits, but he's in the McLaren Honda. Jesper Lempinen, lone man standing at the Haas team. He's proven to put in some good speed this year, so he'll be looking to cap this season off. Colin Higgins is still in the pits. He's in the Toro Rosso. Got Nick Van Gelder in the factory Renault. Jor Marusic in the other Sahara Force India, who had a career day last week, finishing 4th. Definitely got my vote for driver of the day as he fought his way from the back of the grid up to 4th place. Actually led the race for a little while. Lewis Marshall, proven to be very fast this year. Ethan Croft is in what's to be the other Sahara, I'm sorry, not Sahara Force India, Scuderia Toro Rosso. Rene van der Stoep in the other Mercedes, and then rounding it out will be Cameron Weston Edwards, who is out on track but is supposed to have a qualifying ban for this race. So we'll see if he sets a time or if he's just trying to see how the grip is heading into the race.
That's the good thing about having a qualifying ban.
Oh, and one of the cars is off. Is that Jesper? Yeah, it looks like Jesper lost it going in that corner, and Edwards moves out of the way. lets him by.
Yeah, it looks like Jesper lost it on the outside curb there, carrying too much speed up the hill. So, luckily for him, he didn't hit the wall.
So we do 12-minute qualifying session. We got 9 minutes to go. Nobody's actually set a fast lap yet. Some guys are still in the pits. And we're going to stick with Jesper here, so it looks like he's going to start his flying lap. And Jesper has proven to be a little bit quick this year. Had a pole back in Monza, and ended up taking the win back in Monaco.
Yeah, very good Grand Prix out there. With also like with the Yannick being faster at like the previous races, he proved that he was capable of beating his teammate. So it's been a good run for him, I would say, and he has proven that he is worthy of a full-time drive.
Now, is Jesper signed on to be with Haas next year as well?
I think he's actually signed for Williams Martini Racing, if I remember correctly, alongside Andrew Heff, who is coming back to the grid in Season 4.
Yeah, and Andrew Heff had retired earlier in the season as well due to some prior work engagements. As we continue to watch Jesper here as he's going to come across the line. Got a few guys setting some fast laps. Looks like Lewis Marshall's at the top of the charts right now, 109.5. Got a couple of guys chiming in on the chat. Brandon Glover from the IRL League chimed in and wants to know why Cameron's got a qualifying ban, and that is for aggressive driving and avoidable contact at the last round at Abu Dhabi between him and Sandro Dulius. And after a investigation after the race, because we can't give grid spot penalties, the best we could do was a qualifying ban for the race. Me and Sandro had talked about it, and if it was possible, we would have gone with just a 3-spot grid penalty. But can't really do that with this game, so qualifying ban it is. So Cameron will be starting at the back of the field, but I've got every bit of confidence in him that he will definitely be able to make his way towards the front. As you see, he is officially retired from the session at this point.
Yellow flag in Sector 1.
At Sector 1, I believe that's Edwards pulling off to the side.
Okay, yeah.
And now Jesper has gone to the top of the charts with a 109.268. He's going to come across the line again for another flying lap, see if he can improve on that time. Nope, he's going to dive into the pits.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Jesper, he is looking on fire right now. Also with Lewis, Marshall, of course. Those two look very dangerous to taking, well, a victory again here. I think they both have one respective victory each. And of course, Sandro Dulis not being far away, only around 0.2 off Lewis. And so if contact on the first lap, then we could see someone making up places who is starting on the second or even third row if the two front guys decide to come together.
Yeah, in turn 1 here, the turn 1-2 complex really is not only is it very crucial, but it's also very tight. As we pick up Nick Van Gelder at the end of his lap here, and it looks like he's struggling for some rear end grip. Nick joined mid-season, and it looks like he's going to head into the pits as well. So we'll pick up Jo Marusic, who is out on track. However, his car's flashing in between ghost and non-ghost, so I'm not sure if he's having an internet connection issue.
Warming up the tires right now. It looks like he's going for a flying lap now, or maybe he's diving into the pits.
Looks like he's gonna, the last second, dive into the pits. So 5 minutes left to play in this session. We'll pick up Jor's teammate, Louis Quinlan. He's coming out of the last corner now and onto the front stretch. See if he dives into the pits or if he's going to try and take a shot at pole. We've yet to see a time from Francis McGinn, as we will stick with Louis Quinlan here. As he heads down into turn 1. So this is the end of season 3, and it's been quite a season indeed. I want to say SRL's best season yet. Unfortunately, just about all the races you can check out on the SRL YouTube page. I think we've got everything but one. The first couple of races, there is video, but there's no commentary. Unfortunately, I was sick at the beginning of the season and didn't join until round 3 at China. But just a quick recap of the year. Killian Brady came out like a lion, setting pole and race win records all for about mid part of the season until Bart Catalda decided to join the fold. But Killian Brady, he won round 1. He was a pole winner. He had the fastest lap, and he was the race winner. Francis McGinn came in second. McLaren Honda went 1 and 2 about 3 or 4 times this year. Round 2 in Austin, again, Killian Brady won the race. It was the second win in the road, but Bart Catalda, who didn't even have a full-time ride at that point, round 2, picked up the pole, so he was already making his presence known back then. Round 3 is when I finally decided to join the commentated crew, and actually I think my first race, actually round 3 was Austria, so round 4 is when I started, but Austria, again, Bart won the pole position, and he ended up getting his first win. Killian Brady did not participate in that race, so the championship fight started early and continued most of the way through the year.
But there has been a trace of, like, when Killian Brady was racing, he was definitely, if not faster than Bart Catalda, then he was up there with him, able to fight him. So not to take anything away from Bart Catalda at all, he's done an amazing job this season and taking the Drivers' Championship, but honestly, if Killian had continued, I think it may have been a different picture going into this round, but you'll never know. But I just think that Killian was very, very good when he was still around, and when he retired, that was when Bart started catching up to him in the standings, and of course when they were tied on 223 points.
Yeah, it seemed like forever.
And, yeah, it took forever, and then Bart last time came out and scored mere 3 points, I think it was, and he took the championship. So not to take anything away from him, but I think Killian would have got it if he had stayed around. But
well, and it wasn't until round 4 in China, which is when I started commentating. Actually, I think China was the first time I commentated for you guys. I actually had pneumonia that day, but round 4 is when Bart finally got the official word that he would get the full-time seat at the Red Bull team. But he didn't even participate in that race. And again, Killian Brady had won pole, fastest lap, was the race winner that week. But if you really wanted to get a sense of what Bart was about this year, you guys need to go online and check out round 5 at Australia, when Bart was leading the race, lost his internet connection, went from 4th, dropped through the order, managed to regain his internet connection later in the race, and fought his way back through the field, all the way back to the front, and managed to win the race on the last lap, the last corner of the track. It was an exceptional race. It was one of the best races of the year. That was round 5 at Australia. And
it has to be said that there was no safety car involved, so there was no bunching up of the field. He legitimately drove himself back through the field at race pace, and he was absolutely astounding. I was actually driving half of that race before I retired, but he was so fast when he regained his internet connection.
Yeah, that is a really good point, actually, that there was not a safety car to help him out whatsoever.
Yeah.
And as we've been talking about this, Lewis Marshall has crept into the pole position with a 109.254, so not even a tenth quicker than Jesper Lempinen.
Sandro has decided to retire, or has he retired from the session? He stopped at
the session's essentially ended at this point.
Yeah.
Nick Van Gelder has sneaked his way into the 3rd position, just barely ahead of Sandro. Rene van der Staap also running in the 109s is 5th. Colin Higgins puts in a good time at a 109.967 for 6th. Louis Quinlan, 109.969, misses 6th place by 0.02 of a second. So he'll be starting 7th. Jo Marusic is the first driver to be, and the only driver to be in the 110s at a 110.7. Ethan Crawford in a 111.0. Dion Stahl, struggling for grip, runs a 111.6.
What happened there
Francis
with
McGinn
Jesper?
did not set a good time, and then obviously...
Oh, Jesper, he grabbed pole position.
When did he...
Jesper
he must have been on a flying lap.
He was on a flying lap. He grabbed it by 1/10.
Oh, unbelievable. I'm sorry we missed that.
Jesper, absolutely astounding drive there. On the last lap, managing to, grab pole position in front of Lewis Marshall.
So no time set for Francis McGinn, and obviously Cameron Weston-Edwards has the qualifying ban. Dion Stahl's the only driver going to be starting on soft, so that'll be interesting to see.
Maybe he's looking for... I don't know if this race is a 2-stop or a 1-stop strategy. It might be a 1-stop strategy, but it looks like Dion might be interested in going for the comfortable 1-stop strategy if he decides to do that instead.
Dion's really had an up and down year for sure. He started off semi-strong. He did manage to get on the podium at least once this year, but for the most part, he's been struggling mid-pack and back of the field, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, he's always been in the shadow of Sandro Dulis, who essentially has, there's no official one, first driver, but he has kind of made a name for himself of being the faster driver at Scuderia Ferrari. Dion is without a doubt a great driver. He's a great guy, but he's just not proven that speed yet. Maybe it's yet to come in season 4. We don't know, or maybe even this race with the different strategy.
Brandon Glover has chimed in, and he has stated that usually here he does a 2-stop strategy at Interlagos. So it is a 36-lap race, but the track itself is relatively short in comparison to some of the more modern F1 tracks. So
that's true.
That's
maybe what Dion is thinking.
I would think with softs you could be able to do a very long first stint.
Yeah, he has he could then choose at the end whether he wants to go on. I don't know what compound of tires do we have for this round. We have super softs, we have softs, and do we have mediums or ultra softs?
That's a good question.
I would believe that we have mediums.
I would have to think we would have mediums with this.
Yeah, since everybody qualified on, except for Dion, that super softs leads me to believe that we have the medium as the third compound.
To see too. Yeah, Francis McGinn is actually going to be starting on the medium tire, so he's probably going to be one of the drivers that are trying to do a 1-stop. And Cameron Weston-Edwards is going to do a long first stint too. So the bottom 3 drivers are all going to be looking to do long first stints. So they're starting on softs and mediums.
It's going to be interesting, maybe doing a 1-stop and the front pack doing a 2-stop. Maybe they could play into the points at the end. It would be interesting to see at least.
So the drivers are going to line up for the grid as we get ready to call this final race of Season 3 of the SRL League.
Everyone has slotted into their grid positions. Here we go.
Lights out. Time to run what you brung. A quick run down into turn 1. Good getaway by Jesper. Lewis Marshall got a battle in the back there. Oh, Nick barely holds off. Van der Stappen third, and it looks like Jesper and Marshall are off and running.
Lewis is putting the pressure on Jesper right now into turn 4. That is. He's not going to get it though.
Oh my goodness.
Francis off. Francis has lost the place to Cameron. Oh, and the Force India nearly lost it.
That's Jo Marusic and Dion Stahl to back the pack. I'm going to jump back up front real quick. Lewis Marshall is still all over the back. And look, Nick Van Gelder has now joined this battle. It's become a 3-car battle for the lead here on the opening lap. They've got
also behind them, there's a 3-car battle for 4th position.
Oh, and Dooley's is going to go around the outside, it looks like, and try and take that position away from Quinlan.
Oh.
Quinlan's going to hold strong on the inside.
We're going to barge tires here. It looks like Nick has a better run on Lewis than Lewis has on Jesper. Maybe he's looking to make a move into turn 1.
Oh, we've got a caution in sector 3. Looks like that's Higgins.
Yeah.
Higgins has been pushed off, it looks like, by Jorma Rusic.
And he has front wing damage.
And now McGinn in Quinlan.
Oh, and there's a Force India off as well.
That's Louis Quinlan that's gone around. Dion has jumped into the pits, I'm assuming to replace his battered wing at this point. Trying to jump back to the battle at the front. He's got a 3-car battle here for the lead. And it looks like Rene van der Stoep is starting to sneak into the picture. And now we've got a caution in sector 2 again, and it's Louis Quinlan again. And he is off in the grass. Oh, Colin Higgins is also off. Oh my goodness, what is going on in the back here?
So, Ethan Croft makes up 2 positions there from the spin of Louis Quinlan and Colin Higgins.
That's a shame. Higgins had such a good qualifying run. He started 6th.
Now he's out of the points currently. And he has a front wing that is broken. On the left side it looks like. And no, he doesn't have a puncture. It just looked like he had a puncture. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable turn of events for Colin Higgins. Higgins made his debut actually at round 5 in Australia.
Nick is putting the pressure on Lewis. Nick is putting the pressure on Lewis. He's going to go around the outside.
It looks like now he's going around.
Oh!
He's lost the position. He's going to lose many more. Spins the car back around.
No. Oh no.
And Nick tried to go around the outside at the end of the front stretch, and it was just not going to work. And it looks like Marshall may have a little bit of wing damage. He's fallen off the pace a tad. See if he can regain his composure and close that gap back up. So that's going to move Rene van der Stoep into 3rd. Sandro Dooley is up to 4th. And look at this. Cameron Weston Edwards has managed to work his way up to 5th. And
he's
even
had a
though
mental start. Oh.
We've got a caution in sector 3, and that's Jesper. He's gone off. Oh no.
Oh no.
What has happened here?
He spun it at the last turn. Might have hit the curb.
And Jesper Lempinen drops from the lead all the way down to 8th position.
And Nick is putting the pressure on Jura, and oh my goodness, they nearly touched tires there.
And now Francis McGinn and Cameron Weston Edwards are going back and forth for the 4th position.
Cameron has had an absolute fantastic start to this race.
Yeah, and realistically, that is really going to be the most interesting battle on track, is going to be seeing where Cameron and Sandro actually finish, because they are so battling for points. 4th in the championship point standings.
But currently Sandro Doulis is holding that 4th position in the standings with the 3rd place he's holding right now. But this is incredible. Francis McGinn and Cameron Weston Edwards, who started in the back, have worked their way up to 5th and 4th, respectively.
You know, and interestingly enough, Edwards has not had a stellar year. He's been a very solid driver, but he doesn't have a win. I think he's only finished on the podium maybe once, but he's finished just about every race this year and put in good mid-pack points to really fight for that 4th place spot in the championship.
That's true. That's very true. He is what you call a consistent driver, I would say. He's been the most consistent, and now he's putting the pressure on Francis.
He's going to try and go to the outside. He's got the DRS slot open. McGinn's got the more preferred line.
But
Francis pushes him wide.
Cameron has the softer tire, though. So he might want to get this done quickly.
He's definitely going to want to try and make this move soon. It's going to end up costing him more time overall.
He's spinning out of the corners, just getting a little bit of oversteer every single time.
had to step away for a second to yell at some small children.
Oh, and Jesper is putting the pressure on Jure Marusic right now, making his way back up the field after his spin from the lead.
Jump on board with him as he gets around Jure Marusic, heading into turn 1.
Now the next target is Nick van Gelder.
Nick, he was running up at the top there as well, fighting for second, and he ended up spinning his car at the end of the straightaway, at the end of turn 2. Now Jesper is 4 seconds behind Nick, and it looks like Edwards has fallen off the pace to McGinn a little bit. We've got Ivan Brito checking in on the live chat. And to answer Mr. Glover, yes, Brandon, I will be commentating the IRL race tomorrow as well. That'll be tomorrow Sunday. It'll be 11:30 my time on the United States Eastern Shore. I don't know what time that is in any other part of the world, but...
It looks like Nick is catching Cameron, as well as Cameron is catching Francis a little bit. Just a slight tad, and they are falling off Sandros' pace.
Nick has definitely closed the gap down to Cameron, and Cameron's actually started to work his way back up towards Francis, so you're right about that. So in the next couple laps, we might have a 3-car battle here for the 4th position.
Colin gets a 3-second penalty.
Poor Higgins, he's dropped all the way to the tail end of the field after he had contact with Quinlan.
He's on the medium tires, so maybe, I don't know if he can go to the end. It's going to be difficult, but yeah,
that would be hard to do. Only working lap 7 of 36. And the problem there too is because the mediums don't, I mean, they've got the longevity for sure, but because they don't have a whole lot of grip, he's going to be giving up a lot of time throughout the course of this race until those mediums actually come into their own. And by then, I don't think he would make up enough ground. So probably not the best strategy.
He would be too far. Yeah, he would be too far back for like making any positions up when the others start to box for a new set of tires.
The closest battle on track right now is, we've got a caution in sector 2 and 3, and that's Ethan Croft, and he has smashed Francis. The wall.
Oh, Francis has spun as well. He's done
Francis
6th.
McGinn is...
Yeah, Francis has spun it out of turn 3, and he is now behind Cameron and Nick.
So poor Croft. Croft is going to be done for the day. I'm sure that's not how he wanted to end his season.
Yeah, poor day for Toro Rosso. One is going out with, minor problems with the other drivers, and one has just smashed it into the wall. Unfortunate for them. It's not a good way to end the season for a team.
Now we've got Francis McGinn has closed up to the back of Nick Van Gelder, and Van Gelder's going around.
Oh,
and he's off into the grass. And he has reset to the track. So McGinn's going to pick up the position, and this is going to move Jesper Lempinen up into the 6th spot as he tries to move his way back towards the front of this race.
And he has closed the gap down to Francis, it looks like. He was 4 seconds off that battle for 4th place.
And Van Gelder has gone into the pits. Looks like he's going to do a tire change, and it's only lap 9. Van Gelder ran into similar issues last time out at Abu Dhabi. Very early on in the race, he was running towards the front. And apparently Van Gelder is very abusive to his tires because he gave up grip fast and he lost a lot of positions doing so. And the same thing has happened here at Interlagos.
And he's gone for the soft tires. They're not going to go to the end. So I think we're going to see Nick Van Gelder box one more time at least.
So we're going to do a little bit of a grid reset here and jump back towards the front. Lewis Marshall is currently your leader. He is 1.3 seconds out front of his teammate Rene van der Stap. Both of these cars have won this year. Sandro Dulius is 3.5 seconds behind van der Stap in 3rd. Cameron Weston Edwards, who started last, has now worked his way up to 4th. Francis McGinn is 5th and closing in on Edwards. Jesper Lempinen started on pole.
Lewis is pitting.
Marshall is into the pits. That's an early stop.
And he's going for the soft tires as well. So he needs to stop again.
So this is going to jumble it up a little bit more. Oh, and Edwards just picked up a time penalty, so that's going to affect his finish as he moved up to third through the pit sequence. So that's going to move Sandro into second.
And Jesper boxes as well. He's onto the soft tires as well.
Jo Marusic is also in, and he's switching over to softs.
So maybe they are able to go the distance. They've done 10 laps now. 26 laps to go.
That's going to be a lot of laps on some soft tires.
Might be doable, but it's going to be very difficult towards the end. I would like to believe that cars such as
we've got a caution in sector 1. It looks like that's Jo Marusic. And his his wheel is rolling down the front stretch and the car is not. What has happened here?
What just happened there? He's maybe.
And didn't Jor just come into the pits?
Oh, has he? Oh, he's crashed on the. Has he crashed on? No.
Sandro's picking up a 5-second stop and go for speeding into the pit lane. As we continue to try and figure out what's going on with Jo Marusic.
What happened there?
And in the midst of all this,
but he is behind.
I'm not even sure how that's possible. Unless there's some sort of glitch in the pit wall. That is weird. Let me take a look here just to make sure I haven't lost my mind.
He was pitting on the same lap that he crashed. But his crash took place behind the pit wall. So that's very strange.
Yeah, so Jo Marusic, he did make the stop. So in the midst of all this, the two drivers that started in the rear of the field, Francis McGinn and Cameron Weston Edwards, have both worked their way back up to the front. Edwards is now leading this race. He started dead last. Francis McGinn started in 11th. And these two are now running 1 and 2.
Looking to pressurize Cameron right now. Looks like Cameron is having some sort of issue.
He's probably struggling for a little bit of grip. Now this is softs versus medium, so obviously the medium's got a little bit more life left in him.
Looks like Francis might have the toe. Yeah, he's going for the move down to turn 1.
He's going to try and go around the outside. Edwards is going to push him wide. Oh, a nice move, but he's going to try the crossover.
Oh, he's going to
and a good move by Cameron to get back underneath of him. Oh, and they bang wheels a little bit. Cameron's got the DRS and the preferred line. He's going to push Francis wide.
And now everybody is setting fastest lap. First Jesper, then Neat.
If there's one thing we know about Cameron, he is a very, very hard driver to get around. Oh, and Francis lost the front end of the car.
He's dropped back a little bit, but he's going to regain that time because it looks like Cameron might have trouble with his tires right now.
Cameron is very good at making his car very wide. But it does look like he is struggling for grip versus Francis McGinn.
It was a great defensive move from Cameron, and there was nothing wrong in that one. Didn't clip off Francis's front wing, and they go. And Cameron is into the pits now.
Edwards is going to head into the pits, and that's going to give the lead up to Francis McGinn.
Let's see what he does, how long he goes on the mediums before stopping for what I assume is going to be the soft compound tire.
Now, just in the midst of all this, your Lewis Marshall has closed the gap from 6.8 seconds down to 4.3 on Francis McGinn in the past couple laps while he was battling with Cameron Weston Edwards. So Marshall is coming.
I would assume when Francis boxes, then it's just going to be the Mercedes who regains the lead again, with Sandro going up into third. But the interesting thing here is that and Cameron is pressurizing Jesper right now for 5th position. And Cameron has gone onto the soft tires yet again, so he's bound to make another pit stop. He's doing the 2-stop as well. Francis picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. It's going to be added to his time at the end of the session. Right now it's Nick who is pressurizing Cameron Weston Edwards for the position 6 right now.
Okay. Back again. Gotta love having kids sometimes. So sorry for the interruption there, folks.
Nick is all over Cameron's rear end right now.
So we'll pick up that battle. So this is now a three-way battle for 5th. We've got Jesper Lempinen running 5th. Right behind him is Cameron Weston Edwards out on new tires and Nick Van Gelder. Big lockup heading into that corner by Van Gelder.
To me, it looks like Nick is killing his tires very rapidly. He might be bound to make another pit stop because of his tire wear. The way he's driving, he is very, very aggressive on his tires, locking up multiple times. And Francis is boxed for the super softs. Interesting choice.
So Yo Marusic is now chimed in on the chat, and he says, lesson for next time, don't go full power out of the pits. So that might explain what had happened to him. And yes, exiting the pit here, there's a very sharp left-hander to go down the hill.
That is very true. But that must mean his car has reset on the track after he smashed into the wall, because he was out on track.
Correct. So that would make that would make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. And Francis is boxed, which leaves Lewis.
So now we've got a 4-car battle.
4P. That's P4.
We've got what? Jesper, Cameron Weston Edwards, Nick Van Gelder, and now Francis McGinn has joined this battle, and he's on the super softs.
And the freshest tires is also belonging to Francis, so he's going to have every single...
And he is going to have a run coming out of the last corner and down this front stretch on Van Gelder.
It's going to be interesting to see how Nick is going to tackle this one.
Oh, big dive bomb move, and McGinn, barely able to make that work.
But Nick is on his tail again, coming out of...
and now Van Gelder will have the DRS... Well, they both have DRS slots open, it looks like.
What's going to happen? Nick goes down the inside.
Very close there. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Jesper's actually been able to pull a couple of lengths on Edwards to kind of squeeze away a little bit.
Yeah, he's been enjoying the battle behind him, because it's going to give him the room to run away and maybe pull the gap to Cameron so he doesn't get attacked for the rest of the race, hopefully, for him.
And I think you're right. I think your theory's right in regards to Van Gelder. He's very, very aggressive as far as the way he throws the car into the corner. And I think it's burning up his tires. We've seen him struggle for grip a lot this year. You know, he made his debut at round 9 this year in Belgium, where he put in an impressive drive in the rain. But then come round 13 at Mexico in the rain, he had nothing for anybody. He struggled last time out. He struggled earlier in this race with grip. So he's very aggressive with the throttle. As we take a look here, as McGinn is now going to try and go around Cameron Weston Edwards again.
Nearly worked, but he ran off track, unfortunately. And right now it looks like Louis Quinlan and Colin Higgins are having a little bit of a scrap at the back.
No, it looks like Higgins just had a little bit of a bobble there.
Might be some contact, and yeah.
Van Gelder's back end is starting to kick out on him.
And a driver we haven't really talked about this race is Dion Stahl. In the world of his own in P8, must be said. 11 seconds in front of Louis and 39, nearly 40 seconds behind Nick. So, kind of in a world of his own, just running for points for the Scuderia team.
And I really think that's what
yeah.
Dion really needs to do at this point. His year's been a little up and down, as we talked about earlier, and really just trying to finish and put some points on the board would be the best thing for him right now. As you see, Cameron Weston Edwards and Francis McGinn go side by side through the turn 1-2 complex. And now McGinn is going to try and get that run on him down the straightaway.
But Cameron,
and Van Gelder has managed to close back up to this battle. And it is now a 3-car battle.
Oh, and Nick runs wide there.
Nick runs very wide coming out of that corner.
It doesn't look like Jesper is... well, he has pulled a bit of a gap right now, but still...
He hasn't pulled away as much as I thought he would. It's only about 2 seconds out in front of this battle, so, I mean, a little bobble by him, and it can easily close it back up. Meanwhile, Lewis Marshall is still your leader at the front of the pack while we watch this battle unfold. And these guys are going to go side by side.
Oh, Francis has gone off there, and he's back on the... Oh! And he touches
He's going to get underneath of him. Almost.
Nick could prevail from this battle if like they take it too far into turn 1, but we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And Cameron comes back at Francis. Very good.
Francis is really good through that turn 1. They bang wheels again. But Francis is going to get the run.
Still, Cameron is able to defend from such pressure. It's very impressive, actually.
Oh, around the outside, he's not going to be able to make that work.
And Nick doesn't really have anywhere to go.
Cameron is so good at defending his position. He really is the toughest guy to get around on the track, for sure.
And Nick gets a penalty.
Oh, the big lockup by McGinn as he tries to dive bomb him into that corner. But that's going to leave the door open for Edwards as he's got the better line for the next corner.
They both slide out there.
Oh, and another lockup. Oh, and they're bumping and banging. Van Gelder back end kicks out on him.
Cameron looks like he's starting to lose grip as well.
I think at this point they're all starting to lose grip, and now Nick's underneath of McGinn. Oh, he can't quite make it stick.
Very close racing, but also very good racing. What's going to happen? Now Nick is on the one that's pressurizing Francis.
What's amazing to me is that...
What happened there? Looked like... And here comes Francis on Cameron.
So close. What's amazing to me is that Edwards has been able to hold off these two guys for the last few laps. Oh, he's in the grass. He's going to try and make the pass. Whoa, dives back. Oh. But Cameron's been able to hold these guys off while they've both had the advantage of DRS. And Cameron's been able to hold both of them off. Oh no, and Francis gets pushed into the grass. He saves the car.
No. But we talked about Jesper not being able to pull the gap. He's pulled up, what, a 5-second gap now. Understandable from the battling between these three guys, but nevertheless, he has pulled the gap. And
we'll have to monitor the time to see if he's closing the gap to Sandro at all.
He is closing a bit, about 1/10 every single lap, it looks like. He just...
So this battle calms down for a second. It's still your closest battle on track. It's about 0.4 of a second between Edwards and Van Gelder.
I think Sandro just had a little bit of a mistake because Jesper was briefly within 5 seconds of Sandro.
Van Gelder again is going to have the DRS advantage, and he's going to try and go around the outside. Big lockup heading into the end of the straightaway.
But Cameron is very smart at the end of that straight because he doesn't leave the inside very much. He doesn't leave it open, at least. So they have to go around the outside for turn 4 and 5. Oh, Nick! Oh!
Big time move.
That was very close.
Almost tried to dive bomb him. Glover has requested to see the tire compounds. And that is what everybody is currently running there, Brandon. Mostly softs, except when you get back down to Francis in 7th position. And he's actually starting to close the gap back up to what is going to be the 3-car battle again for 5th. Dion Stahl, as you said earlier, he's on a world of his own.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, Jesper still holds the fastest lap. Oh, and there's a
Caution in sector 1. I'm not sure
That's
who that
Jesper.
would be. Oh, Jesper's gone around.
He spun it again. Oh, and he's down to 7th now. He is not having the best of races today, to say the least. Spun twice, once from the lead and now from 4th position. But that takes off the pressure of Sandro Dulis, who now has 12, nearly 13 seconds down to the car behind.
Oh, and Van Gelder's going to try and get on the inside of Cameron.
Oh,
and look at this. McGinn comes back, and he's going to get on the inside of Nick.
And they're all sliding around right now, drifting like it was rallycross.
Oh, McGinn's going to try and work the outside. Oh, he
he's
drops the wheels in the grass. And now Van Gelder goes, but Van Gelder's car washes out. Oh, my.
It's a massive tank slapper.
He completely lost grip.
He's still in the battle though, but massive tank slapper, and he might need to think about pitting soon. Because I don't know how worn out those tires are, but I can only imagine. And Francis makes a move down on Cameron.
Oh, here we go, Nick.
And now Nick,
3 wide through the corner. Cameron's banging wheels with Nick.
And it looks like Nick might get the job done here.
He's going to have to go around the outside. Oh, Cameron's so good at getting into that corner. And he gets the run coming out of it. Unbelievable.
So he stays in front of Nick Van Gelder right now.
And that's got to be some corner cutting there. Oh, no, now we've got some wing damage off of McGinn's car. Oh, and the grip is gone. Wide. Cameron's gone wide. He's in the grass. He's going to try and pick the battle back up.
So
he goes from 4th to 6th.
Unfortunate for him.
And Van Gelder's back end is kicking out. Well, these guys have been struggling for grip for the past few laps. And around goes Van Gelder, and he is off into the... We have to reset again. So Edwards is going to pick up 5th again.
Yeah,
and Francis is now off and sailing into 4th.
Right now.
Oh, and Francis is going to head into the pits. All 3 of these drivers need to come in right now.
Cameron stays out.
Cameron stays out.
Or, no, he smashed it into the pit wall.
Oh, my goodness.
He tried to fake it into the pits, but he's crashed into the pit wall, getting a massive tank slapper over the bump that is into the pits.
McGinn is still in. He's getting a nose change. This is a long pit stop for him. He's finally leaving.
Here comes Jesper. He's going to pick up 6th position right now. But Nick.
Unbelievable.
And now Dion, even though he's been quiet, he's going to pick up positions now.
Yeah, he's going to pick up 7th spot easily. And if he can just hang on to that, that'll be some good points for him to cap off this season. And we're going to hop on board with Cameron Weston Edwards. I'm going to listen to Edwards work the throttle on this car.
Maybe he's thinking about a pit stop for a super softs right now. It would be a good time right now.
You can definitely hear him coming out of the corners as he's feathering the throttle a little bit. He's trying to get the power down. And he's going to stay out one more lap.
And still out in front, we have Lewis Marshall, who just lapped Dion Stahl right there. And it's going to be René who's lapping Dion now. They're actually really close out in front, only with 1.6 seconds between them.
Yeah, the intervals remained at about 2 to 1.5 seconds the whole race.
There is rain, it looks like.
Or are we starting to get a little bit of precipitation? It does look like we're starting to get some drops. And Jesper just set the fastest lap at 1:10.9 with rain coming down. So this will definitely shake things up. Who's going to be brave enough to stay out on slicks, and for how long? Maybe this is why Cameron hasn't pitted.
He saw the rain. Maybe he's staying out for intermediates.
That would explain why he's so easy on the throttle, as we're going to hop back on board with him real quick. And he is just being ever so gingerly with his steering inputs.
But yeah, definitely rain is coming down right now. It's only drops right now, but it could escalate very quickly here in Interlagos, as we know from real life.
I'm going to pick up Jesper Lempinen as he's now closed up to the back of Francis McGinn. So Jesper, even though he spun, he pitted. He set the fastest lap. Rain's starting to come down. Now we know Francis is on some very worn super softs at this point.
He must be, at least. But yeah, as you said, Jesper pressurized, or at least pressurizing Francis a little bit right now.
And Jesper is now, he's caught up to the back of him.
Let's see what the Finn can do.
So 10 laps to go. We've got ourselves some weather in the area. Looks like some scattered showers. There's a little bit of a blue sky trying to poke through. So we'll see if the rain gets any worse. And it looks like in this section of the track here through Sector 2, it looks like it's a little worse than it was in Sector 1. This track's like not very big, so the cloud cover's definitely moving across the track.
It looks like it's Sector 2 right now. Looks like it's Sector 2 mainly where the drops are.
Oh, it looks like Colin Higgins either went off or got out of the way. And Higgins is actually out on the intermediates. I'm willing to bet he's probably the only driver. He is the only driver out on intermediates right now. And I would have to say it's probably too soon for that. Yeah. It looks like Higgins was maybe trying to get ahead of the game and get on intermediates while everybody else... Oh, but look at this. He's got no grip right now. No grip whatsoever.
Jesper is on the back of Francis. He's got the run out of the last corner. Oh, he's spun!
Oh, no! He's into the wall!
Oh!
And he's flipped the car over! Jesper Lepinen is donezo. Unbelievable. I just caught the tail end of that as I was watching Higgins.
He was not careful enough with the car. He was a little bit wet on the start-finish straight, and he started... Francis moved over to cover his line, and Jesper just aggressively moved over and lost the car on the damp track.
So Sandro Dulius is now headed into the pits. Let's take a look and see if he switches over to the intermediates. Unbelievable turn of events for Jesper Lepinen.
He has a stop-go penalty, of course.
And he is putting on the intermediates.
He's putting on the intermediates. But if it's any help for Jesper, he is going to get 2 points nevertheless, even though he crashed out.
Now, in the midst of all this, Cameron Weston Edwards has stayed out on track, so he's going to pick up the 3rd spot.
And right now, the battle for the lead is coming down. It's half a second.
Oh, and here we go, folks. We haven't seen these two actually battle it out yet.
Let's hope it doesn't end like Mercedes 2016 Spain. Or 2017, sorry. Oh, and there is a yellow flag in Sector 2. That was Cameron. He is off.
Cameron's gone around. That's too bad.
If he can get it going, he's not going to lose the positions for Francis.
And it looks like René van der Staap has jumped into the pits.
Yes, he is going for the insist as well, and there is a Sector 1 caution. That
Cameron is now fighting the car and fighting the weather at this point. He has
a puncture on his right rear.
Oh yeah, the tire is destroyed. That is going to ruin his day.
Just saying, in all of this, Dion Stahl is running 6th right now.
Dion, who has been lapped, and Dion is...
Oh, was that
still out on the mediums?
Impressive from him. And it looks like, yeah, René has come in for the intermediates as well.
Now, Louis Quinlan has managed to sneak up to the back end of Dion Stahl.
But we're going to talk about, like...
Here we go. Quinlan is now all over the back of Stahl. Super softs versus mediums, but the rain is coming down, and it's really bad here in Sector 2 and 3.
Oh, he loses a bit of... Yeah.
And Stahl gives up the position.
Going to be lapped by the 6th and 7th position. Well, we know where he's going to finish today, I think we can conclude. He's just been lapped by Louis Quinlan and Dion Stahl. Unfortunate for him.
Well, even though he's been lapped, he's still going to be finishing 8th, and realistically, this is starting to become a race of attrition as we've lost 4 cars now. And with the rain coming down, there's a possibility of losing more. So not all hope is lost for Higgins to gain another position or two.
But it looks like Lewis Marshall has dragged out the gap to his teammate during the pit stops. It was
the pit
half a
sequence
second.
is definitely...
It was half a second. Now it's 11.2 seconds. He's definitely gained time.
Well, I think Marshall pitted a lap sooner than Vanderstappen. Now we've got a caution in sector 2.
Oh, and Dion has gone round.
Oh no, Dion Stahl off into the grass.
He's lost a bit of his front wing. And does he have a puncture? No, he doesn't. It doesn't look like it, at least.
These guys have really pushed the limits of trying to stay out on dry tires.
And Francis and Louis Quinlan are still out on dries on the super softs.
So hop on board with Francis, and Francis is going extremely slow around this track right now. And a big lockup heading into that corner. He's got to come in for tires.
It'll be interesting to see how much time he's actually lost. If he's going to be behind Cameron again.
Well, Cameron has managed to get around Louis Quinlan for 5th, but he's almost a minute behind Sandro.
It's going to be difficult then, but yeah.
And it looks like Francis is staying out another lap on the super softs. That is unbelievable.
We have 5 laps to go. He's not going to make it, I think. It would be impressive if he could stay out for 5 laps on a damp track with the super softs, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, you can see the rain. It's physically coming down. The mere fact that he's still out on a slick tire, especially through the Sector 2 section. Not only is Sector 2 at this track a hard sector to begin with, because really the way this track is set up, Sector 2 is where you can either gain or lose a whole lot of time to begin with. That's in the dry. And he's going to try and do it in the wet with slick tires. It's unheard of.
The interesting fact is that even though he's out on slicks, he's actually catching René out in front. On this lap, it was 4 seconds to begin with. It is 3.2 seconds, the gap right now. I don't know what is happening, but he is definitely closing down the Mercedes
cars. He's down to
cars.
3.3. He can actually see him now at this point.
He gets a little bit of a tank slap out of the last corner, but it's not going to harm him a whole lot. And DRS has been disabled.
So it is now raining hard enough for the DRS to be disabled, and Francis McGinn is still out on the track on super softs.
And Louis Quinlan picks up a 3-second time penalty. But it looks like Francis is starting to lose time to René van der Stappen right now.
There you go, Brandon. Francis is still out on super softs. No glitch here, buddy.
But he is losing massive time.
Yeah, he did give up some time through that first sector. He gave up almost a whole second.
But there isn't actually a really close battle right now out on track. They're very spread out. The closest we have is actually Francis and René van der Stappen. Also with Louis Quinlan and Cameron.
Oh yeah, the car is definitely sliding around at this point. So Francis will have to pit. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably pick up Sandro here in a second, because Francis, I would have to imagine, is going to be going in this lap.
Yeah, Sandro is catching. Oh, he's getting a massive drift through the penultimate corner, Sandro. But yeah,
and
he's getting
Francis
lots
is
of time
heading
right
into
now.
the pits for sure. So we'll pick up Sandro.
It'd be
Who's
interesting
going
to
to
see
easily
if
take over
Cameron
the
can.
third spot.
I don't think Cameron is going to get him. So I think Francis has made himself, put himself in a very good position to finish 4th for this race, which is a good position considering he started like 2nd to last.
Yeah, Cameron is extremely far behind, and it looks like he's struggling for grip out on the intermediates. And he's essentially in his own time zone as well. Quinlan's the closest driver to him, and he's still 3.6 seconds back, and he's got to deal with the lap car of Colin Higgins in front of him.
So as it stands right now, Sandro is going to keep that 4th place in the drivers' championship, and Cameron is going to finish 5th. And Francis gets a 3-second penalty.
So really, for the next few laps, this is ultimately, if everybody stays on track where they're at, this will ultimately be your finishing order to top off this 20-round Season 3 for SRL and the F1 2017 for the PS4 platform. And what a season it's been. We talked earlier about Killian Brady and Barcatelda and the championship battle there. Brady retiring midway through the season. So it's been an unbelievable run. Round 1 was Silverstone. Brady won pole, won the race, had the fastest lap. Round 2 was Coda, where Barcatelda picked up his first pole position, but Brady went 2 for 2 and picked up his second win of the year. And round 3, Barcatelda was your pole winner and also race winner, so he picked up his first win. Brady did not race that race, but he came back for round 4 in China, and he went 3 for 3 with wins. He had been in 3 races. He had won 3 races. He also picked up another pole position. And it wasn't until that round 4 in China that Catalda picked up the full-time ride for Red Bull Renault.
Like that sparked his career.
Yeah, and then round 5 in Australia, we talked about that earlier. That was really the drive of the year for him. He picked up that win. Catalunya was round 6, where he again picked up pole, but Brady was the race winner. And it wasn't until round 6 that René van der Staap took over and replaced Pedro Mesquita at Mercedes. And then round 7 was interesting. That was Monza, and that was when Jesper Lempinen had joined the fold, and he put in a really quick time during qualifying to pick up his first pole, while Brady won, and Bart Catalda picked up second in that race. Round 8 was Hungary, and that was also a very interesting race as well. Catalda picked up his 5th pole position of the year. He picked up his 3rd win. Killian Brady picked up 2nd. And then that was the end of round 8. Going into round 9, Nick Van Gelder finally joined the year for the factory Renault team. He replaced John Burney. And Sam Elvin had also joined at that point. He had replaced Rob Sawyer. And going into round 9, Killian Brady was still 100% on podium finishes for the races that he had entered for the year. So Bartlett actually led the league in pole positions at that point. Round 9 was Spa, and again Brady, he won the race, won pole position. Cameron Weston Edwards picked up his lonesome podium for the year. He finished ahead of Sandro. And round 9 was in the wet at Belgium, and Killian Brady dominated that race. He actually lapped the entire field that day, except for second place Cameron Weston Edwards.
A very impressive drive from him.
Yeah, and at round 9, he had a 70-point lead over Bart Catalda. Round 10 was Bahrain, and this is where it got interesting. Killian Brady had won the pole position. Lewis Marshall, this was actually Lewis's first race of the year, and he had a bad internet connection, glitched, and actually took out Killian Brady going into the first corner. Marshall would end up finishing second, while Francis McGinn would pick up his first win of the year. Round 11 was Azerbaijan. It's not even a word, but Bart Catalda picked up his 6th pole position and his 4th win at that race.
And at that point, we also saw the Welsh Sahara Force India driver Easton Roos getting either retiring or getting disqualified because of,
yeah, we'll say Easton Reese was a forcible retirement from the SRL league after his actions at Baku. Round 12 was Canada. Killian Brady picked up his 5th pole position of the year. Bart Catalda won the race. Brady picked up 2nd. And then round 13 was Mexico, and again, Catalda, pole position for the 7th time, race winner for the 6th time. Edwards did manage to pick up another podium that race. I see here, managed to pick up 2nd. And it was after this race, unfortunately, that Andrew Heff had retired. And he said he would be back for season 4. This is also the race that Killian Brady decided to retire and concentrate on esports. So really, when Brady retired at the end of round 13, as we see this race come to a conclusion here, Brady had retired with 5 wins, 6 poles, and we only had 1 DNF of the year.
Which is quite
see Lewis
impressive
Marshall
for...
pick up the win for this year. Renee van der Staap second, Sandra Dulius third.
After the rain here in Brazil, it didn't look like the order was going to change. The closest battle was Louis Quinlan and Cameron, but I think Cameron managed to stay in front of Quinlan, but I'm not entirely sure because of penalties and all those kinds of things.
We'll get an official finishing order
in just a minute. Let's see. But there you have your winner.
So Mercedes won 2.
And a Ferrari. So kind of like real life. And it's been a long time. I would say, of course, with the exception of last race, it has been a long time since Mercedes actually been close in the SRL. Of course, they had their...
Looks like Francis McGinn would be finishing 4th, Cameron Weston-Edwards 5th, Louis Quinlan 6th. Dion Stahl, solid 7th place finish. Higgins picks up 8th. Jesper 9th, and Gelder 10th. And,
interesting.
Jan Marusic 11th, and Ethan Croft is 12th. And just to round out the rest of the year here, round 14 was the Malaysian Grand Prix. Barcadelda picked up his 8th pole position, his 7th win. Nick Van Gelder got on the podium for the first time that year. And then you run into round 15 at Singapore, which is where the season took a weird turn. There was no Barcadelda, there was no Killian Brady for that race, and Yannick Verpenton put in a very quick time in the rain and managed to dominate that whole race. Now, Yannick ended up second because of a 10-second time penalty, so Renee van der Staap picked up his first win of the year at Singapore. But then 16 at Japan, round 17 at Russia, Yannick picked up pole. He won Japan. He finished second at Russia. And the same thing happened at round 18 where Verpenton finished second. Now, Verpenton had won Monaco, so if you're going to win one race all year, it should be Monaco. But Verpenton had finished second that race, and that was a string of finishes that Yannick Verpenton that kind of drew some red flags for the rest of us in SRL. And ultimately, after a 4-person panel investigated Yannick Verpenton, and he had been disqualified for the year. Round 19 was Abu Dhabi, and then obviously here at Interlagos, another win for Lewis Marshall as he picks up his second win of the year. So ultimately, even though Barcadelda didn't participate today, he's still your season champion. Killian Brady, I believe, is second in the points. Francis McGinn, third. Sandra Dulius will manage to hang on to fourth in the points. Fifth would be Cameron Weston-Edwards. And
Renee van der Staap finishes 6th. I think, Nick finishes 7th. 1 point ahead of Jesper Lempinen. I'm not entirely sure. I think Alex Benedetti finishes 9th, and then Lewis Marshall is going to round out the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship for Season 3 of SRL F1 League.
Yeah, so for what it's worth, guys, tune into the SRL YouTube channel. Always like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But there'll be a review video in the next few days. You will be able to catch up with where the point standings are officially at the end of the season. You can also look forward to the Season 4 roster, which has been finalized but not released yet. And Sam, while you're here, why don't you talk to us about the SRL GT3 Championship that'll be coming up that we'll be doing on Project Cars 2. You've been working behind the scenes on that for most of the year.
Yeah, not only with GTE Championship, the 9th of June, I believe, we are going to have the Project Cars 2 Indy 500 as well of SRL. So stay tuned for that. We are not entirely done for this part of the season, we have the Indy 500 coming up, and at some point we're also going to have 24 hours of Le Mans on Project Cars 2 as well coming up.
Now, for the 24 hours, are you going to do an actual 24 hours, or are you going to do...
Is looking like it's going to be maybe a 3 hours real time,
okay,
like in real life, but the in-game weather and the time cycle is going to be speeded up, so we are going to manage to go into the night. We're going to see dawn, we're going to see the day running, and it's going to be an awesome event. I think it's going to be the longest race of the SRL Racing League, because I don't think the Indy 500 is going to exceed 3 hours.
No, it'll probably... Yeah, the Indy 500
hour,
for SRL is going to be a 100-lap race, probably be about 90 minutes or so. And then you're going to do a 3-hour, 24-hour of Le Mans. Now, are you doing that as a standalone race, or are you going to add that into the GTE calendar for Project Cars 2?
It's going to be a standalone race. Also with the Indy 500, maybe a Daytona 24-hour, Le Mans 24-hour. It's going to be standalone races just for, like, you could say just for fun. But the GTE Championship is just going to consist of only GTE cars. And we can also announce that there's going to be 5 teams with 3 drivers in each. And the 5 teams that have been chosen are Aston Martin, BMW, Corvette, Ford, and Ferrari. So look forward to that. It's going to be very interesting. The grid is not finalized yet, but it will come at some point.
We can look for that season to kick off towards the end of August or beginning of September.
Somewhere around late August, maybe beginning September, since we are also waiting for the F1 2018 game for the F1 season to kick off again. So it's going to be very interesting with a new series coming to the channel, and also you should stay tuned for the next couple of days, because in a couple of days we're going to release a website as well where you can follow every single event. It's going to be updated from event to event. You can follow the standings, the drivers, and you can just check up on everything. So look forward to that as well. It's going to be released in a couple of days.
Nice. So definitely, guys, check out the YouTube channel. You can follow up on previous seasons. You can definitely check out this season. I think every race is on this season except for one. I believe that was Austria that we may have missed.
I think every single race has been broadcasted at some point. Some races may have been broadcasted from one specific driver's eye view, but I think you will be able to find every single race.
Yeah, and like I said, I picked up the commentating duties around round 4, and I think I made just about every race, with the exception of one after that, and then Luke Smith had filled in for me on that. So guys, you know, it's been a great experience doing this for SRL. And I look forward to doing it for the GTE Championship, the Indy 500, and possibly the Le Mans as well. And so check out SRL on YouTube. Look forward to more videos with more information coming out soon. They're going to release a website. That's going to be awesome. Subscribe, like, comment. And you can also check me out at KAMIKAZE-FOX on YouTube. You can check up on IRL races there. I've got the first 7 IRL races there, and then IRL has their own YouTube page as well. I'll be commentating for them tomorrow. I'll also be racing in IRL later today in their GT3 Championship, so you can look forward to that stream. I'm KAMIKAZE-FOX. This has been Sam.
And also you should go follow or subscribe to Noble Racing on YouTube.
Yes.
Very talented reporter, I would call him, and he is doing rundowns, reviews of all of our races. I think so far he started doing it Oh, I don't know. He started doing it mid-season and he's done it ever since. So go subscribe to him, follow him, and he will do some reviews on every single race we do, whether it's Project Cars or F1 2018 in the future.
Yes, and that is going to be the Noble Racing Network. Be sure to check him out. Also, like, subscribe, and comment to him. And look forward for more videos here in the next coming days. And we'll see you next F1 season, and we'll see you on the next Indy 500, June 9th. So stay tuned for that. Fox out.
Yeah.